Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And what can we tell you? We are the other Alliance guys. A presentation of alliance-wrestling.com, your number one source. My camera's over here now. For news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance, sometimes TNA, sometimes UWA. And that's really what we're here to talk about. I have the BLAHS right now, guys, and my rally cap did not help the Blue Jays
Yeah.
win the World Series. It was one of the best games that I've ever seen in baseball. And I'm a bandwagon guy, so yeah, I was blown away by that Game 7. But congratulations to the LA Dodgers anyway. But bummer when you stay up all that time and you put all that energy in there and it gets blown that way. But there you go. That's what I say to these guys. Like, we'll talk about this today, amongst other things, but the November BLAHS, and if you're out there, I know Willie's out there. We got this news board here. We got to figure out how to work the chat. It didn't come up. I saw it on the other one, but Willie says, I know you'd said earlier anyway, that Tyrus's sweet spot is Hostess Twinkies. That's
I love a good Twinkie, so I that is one area where I can't fault the fat bastard.
Yeah, that's true. But we're going to talk about the November BLAHS. We'll do that in a second. Like, just for me, it just doesn't seem to be anything grabbing me wrestling-wise on television at all. And November seems to have that effect on a lot of us. Dave and I were talking before the show. The time change really screws us up, and maybe that's part of it. There just doesn't seem to be anything that I have found personally that's worth watching, worth investing our time into. And Jeremy's feeling kind of shruggy about the stuff that he's looking at right now. He'll talk about that. And, we'll get into it in a sec. But like Jeremy might do UWA, might do TNA, might just kind of go, I don't know. We'll have to see and we'll find out. And Dave's going to give us, if he can pick out one problem with the NWA, the number one problem, he's going to let us know what it is and what he would do to change it immediately, I imagine. But, fellas, the thing is about when you have the BLAHS and you are part of the Alliance, it makes me realize very prevalently, and I've known this for a very long time, that I don't so much love the NWA or the other promotions that we have embraced on this show and just in the Alliance in general as sort of the topics that our guys like, our friends like out there. It's that I like the Alliance.
Yeah.
I like the idea of someday in the future rolling back down to to Philly or New Jersey and seeing Dave, or flying out to LA and seeing J-Cal, and stopping off in the Denver, Colorado area and seeing my buddy Total Nonstop Jeremy. And all the Sam Retros and the Big Chris Dogs and anybody out there. Willie Bowen. I go to Windsor a lot. I'll come across the border. We'll press flesh. I'll have a drink. I'll run back up to Canada. That's what I like.
Yep. It's family.
It's family. It is #Alliance Fam. And that's really the focus. But none of the three of us watch NWA right now. Jeremy's watching UWN, and he'll talk about it. I think he's going, it's there. And I worry because I look at WWE and I don't see anything that grabs me on SmackDown. I don't bother with. Well, I didn't bother with Saturday night's main event because there was a World Series 7, Game 7 that my hometown was in.
It
Yeah,
was kind of,
but it hasn't been good.
Yeah.
And if Raw has nothing, like look, if you are pro CM Punk or anti CM Punk, good for you. I like CM Punk. I always did, but he's boring now. I don't care. I've seen him too much. It's the same promos, guys. It's the same 8-minute walk to the ring to listen to people sing to Seth Rollins music. By the way, I recognize less preparation for this today. That Jim Cornette has actually done a very similar kind of segment in his #1 rated podcast in the world. I don't mean to steal #1's ideas. It was just a matter of, I guess, poor timing. But what is there? Like, I'm not interested in AEW. It sounds like a gong show over there. And if UWN's not great and TNA's sliding down, and where do I go? What do I look at? And that's like where I'm stuck right now. I don't know what I'm watching because I love MLP, but MLP's pretty inconsistent right now as they search for a TV deal. What do you think, Jeremy?
I did see that MLW is in talks. Apparently, there's speculation going around that they are looking at getting a TV deal, coast to coast.
MLW or MLP?
MLW.
Nice.
Yeah. You brought up the sitting there and sitting through the crowd singing Seth's song, and I brought up backstage before the show how if I have to sit through another mid-carder 10-minute entrance through the crowd while everyone eats, and then he gets to run it back
Yeah.
for a minute, and I get another 2 to 3 minutes of eating. I don't have better things to do because I go to work and then I come home. I hang out with my wife, but if I'm gonna pay attention to your program for 13 minutes, give me 13 minutes worth of something to pay the fuck attention to. Not a bunch of yahoos going, yeet, yeet. I'm old. My attention span is short now, guys.
Yeah. And you're having trouble finding stuff you love, like the stuff that you
Yeah.
watch. Tell us about what you're seeing and not liking.
So, since Bound for Glory, TNA is in their retrospective phase for the month. They've been going back and showing you greatest hits and stuff. This past week it was a Broken Hardy Compound Halloween special, where they went back and reviewed some of the greatest hits from the Hardy Compound matches in the Broken Universe, which was fun. That was really good. Um, I had seen some of the stuff that they showed, um, but I was like, well, and I put it in our Discord. I was like, I'm gonna check out UWN and see if it moves me. And then I reported back later on, and I was like, well, that was the show.
Yeah.
I don't know what I I sat down, I watched it. It was a good show. It wasn't bad by any means. It was a show. I didn't feel the need to go, ooh, I need to go back and watch that 5150 versus um the Krusty Crew tag team match that opened up the show. I didn't. It was a good match, but it wasn't. Let me tell you guys about this. You can go watch it.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. I
Just
didn't.
yeah.
The show was a show for me.
Yeah. And Dave, you're mentioning I asked you before, what are you watching? And you told me.
Yep. Central States, the 80s. That's late 70s and early 80s. Is I grew up in the Kansas City area. That's what I would watch. That was Harley and just, Bulldog Bob Brown. Not a lot of names. They bring in names every once in a while, but that's my happy place. And I was just I was just thinking I may do a fantasy booking on it, but wrestling goes 52 weeks a year. It's hard to stay fresh. And there's been talks of why don't they do seasons? Okay, well, you have maybe split it up into 4 seasons and take a 2-week break in between them. So you'd have basically, roughly 40, 44, maybe 46 weeks
Yeah.
of actual programming where people could take a break if they're injured. They're written out, and then you have a week of review of what happened that season. But
Right.
like Jeremy was saying, MLW, you watch them, they have some people that have been there for a long time, but they always switch people in and out.
Yeah.
They always have different styles. I mean, they have different styles of fighting. Sometimes it's hardcore. Sometimes it's the Japanese wrestling. Sometimes it's lucha libre. Sometimes it's just regular, straight ahead fighting. But they mix it up very well.
Mhm.
I don't know if regular wrestling has just lost its passion, but they need to do something. They need to do something to switch it up. That when you talk about like the territory days, they would lose a match, a loser leaves town match, and that would move them on to the next territory. Or they would go under a mask, or they do something to spin that person who was possibly you were possibly losing interest in, or it's something to bring somebody in and get somebody out the door.
Right.
So it's if the story was getting dull, you'd bring in somebody new to work with them, or they'd move on to another territory, and it's something that, in my opinion, needs to be done. That wrestling, I mean, Cody, he's doing a great job, but I can only take so much of Cody. In my
Right.
eyes, he is a heel waiting to happen, but they don't have anybody that can take over and be the baby face, or if there is even such thing as a modern baby face. My idea of a modern baby face would be what Stone Cold was, somebody that's basically flipping a middle finger to the authority and doing what he wants. So it's what people's ideas are of whether it's a heel, a baby face, good guy, bad guy, whatever. It all doesn't fall in as to what it was back in the day. So now you have to make adjustments. And like I said, in my opinion, Cody is a heel just waiting to happen. He's
If
waiting to erupt that you just have no idea when he's going to erupt.
If it's boring, make a change.
Yep.
You know, and like I mentioned earlier, there was, on Cornette's podcast, whether you love him or hate him, it doesn't seem to be anyone who's indifferent. But you got to admit he's pretty smart when it comes to a lot of things about wrestling psychology. And he mentions back with when Bill Watts is running his territory, they do, an hour of TV, and they would, instead of 3 hours or 2 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever you get out there with 4 hour pay-per-views that, like that in itself, by the way, as an aside, when a company goes, oh, we're going to have a 45 or hour long pre-show of 3 matches, and then we're going to run a 4 hour pay-per-view. No, thank you. That's a
Yeah.
that's a fucking commitment that I don't have time to, you know. Um, but he mentioned Cornette that there'd be an hour, and you'd have a 2 minute squash match, and you'd come out of that as a fan going, "Oh man, the Midnight Express or whoever really kicked the crap out of those two, young guys." And like Watt started by going, Bobby Eaton was a babyface, and like picking him up and putting him with Condrey, who was with Norvell Austin at the time. And here's my idea. Let's get going. Let's do something new. There'd be a squash, and then they'd go to Bob Caudle or whoever, or standing around talking to so and so, and those guys would yell about how much they hated some other guys, and then they go, let's go back to the ring, and they do a 7 minute match that was pretty exciting, and then not everything was a walking into the ring, staring at each other, scripted promos, music, like all of these things are important, smaller pieces. If you don't have it, I mean, like I don't. If you're not able to chop it up for me and give me some excitement, then I'm completely disinterested in any product that doesn't. Thank you, Willie. I had a great Canadian Thanksgiving, just about 1 month before you guys. So appreciate that, my friend. David Valentine says, want TNA to stand on their own and not be dependent on WWE to boost them up. What do you think, Jeremy? That's your wheelhouse.
Um, I I am in complete agreement there. I do think that based on the house that TNA had for Bound for Glory, that they are well on their way to being a good, successful number 2 again in the business. Uh, how long they're able to not be absorbed by the WWE is the ultimate question, because at the end of the day, that's more than likely what will end up happening by the end of this 5-year run.
Yeah.
Um, Especially if business is going the way that it is. Flip side of that is that WWE is seeing a downturn in their attendance, or not attendance, but viewership. The ESPN deal is not working out the way yet, anyways, that either side was hoping it would do. So there's that. On the flip side of that, internationally, it's doing gangbusters on Netflix. So, well, I don't know how long that they're in this deal with ESPN. They probably said, and I forgot. If they haven't, I don't know, but the end goal for them would have to would ultimately be to just go with Netflix and stick with that platform um,
It's
globally.
whatever makes money, right?
Yeah, and that's the one that's working out the best for them right now. They're seeing great numbers on Monday nights globally for Raw. They're seeing great numbers internationally for SmackDown and their pay-per-views internationally, because Net, Netflix is the platform for that. It's just here where it's all chopped up and broken up and scattered about. Um, I am a big proponent of one place for my entertainment, so I don't have to go.
Yeah.
I don't mind spending an hour and a half to 2 hours looking for something to watch if I'm doing it on one platform. If I'm skipping back and forth between platforms, I'm not going to watch shit. I'll just go to YouTube
Right.
and I'll doom scroll on there and I'll play videos in the background, you know.
Me too.
Um, with wrestling now, it's not just the shows that, for me anyways, that are not hitting. It's the wrestling itself as well. Uh, we've talked about this before. The old adage: if you saw one Bret Hart match, you've seen them all. If you've seen a wrestling match here lately, you've seen them all.
Yeah.
But between the trading punches or slaps, the chops, super chops, and
Yeah.
the super kicks. A super kick used to be that one hitter quitter. Now it's a throwaway, unless a young buck does it, or it's your finisher. Which why would you make it your finisher anymore when everybody else does it as a throwaway? I
You know, and on the other end of that, you get guys doing their finishers once. Okay, kick out. Oh, sometimes in a main event, that's amazing. Oh my God.
right,
He or she kicked out. Now it seems like every middle card, upper card match, twice kick out, three times kick out. We're all supposed to pull our hair out. No, your finisher sucks. Then if we have to do it more than twice, you know, like
yeah,
I like the idea that you can do things like John Cena gets F5 by Brock Lesnar, covers him, he kicks out, does it
right,
again. I mean, because it's Cena's end of Cena's run, right? He kicks it out, great, and then he gets three more in a row or five more in a row. I'm okay with that shit.
right.
But when it's like you take him off the top rope to do your double arm DDT, you're basically ghostbustering him off the top rope, and he kicks out. In
No,
the immortal words of my good friend Jeremy, go fuck yourself. Like
yeah,
this shit.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That is a man that is my age. If I slip and fall, not even take a flat back, just fall on my ass, I'm down for that day.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not, and I know this for a fact. It's happened. I'm not saying I'm a John Cena shape or conditioning by any way, by any means, shape, or anything like that, but I know what it is to be 47, 46, 45 years old and bust your ass. That shit hurts. And it doesn't go away that day. It
Right.
hangs.
We were waiting for Dave to come back. I don't know what happened to him. But you're right, it does. And I mean, so when the Young Bucks do it, okay, I guess that's a finisher. But when I don't know, every other guy in every other match does it. And this is part of the complaint about I don't know what to watch and I don't care what to watch because everybody's doing the same shit in every
Yeah,
match all the way through. You
yeah,
know, I started really noticing it at the pay-per-view that I deigned to watch this past year, where they had a men's ladder match for I think the U.S. title. Then they had a women's ladder match, and I don't, you know, I always live in fear of being called a misogynist because I'm not, but I don't see the point. You do
yeah,
one match with that. That's it.
yeah.
They even did the
It-
same spots.
I understand giving them, I understand giving both sides the opportunity to do it, but like you said, make it one or the other. Uh, Keep the match itself special.
Right.
You know, that's it's a tables, ladders, or chairs match, or TLC match in cases. It's an
Yeah.
elimination chamber match. It's a Royal Rumble. Decide which ones would benefit from it the best, and then they're the ones that get that Royal Rumble. They're the ones that get the table match,
Right.
the elimination chamber match. You keep those matches special. They don't mean anything right now. It's another stipulation. This is, for me, in a lot of ways, wrestling at the moment is equivalent to kind of Russo-esque TV. Everything's a gimmick at the moment, or at least feels that way for me.
Yep.
I'll come back to this, Patrick, because I think that's a fun side topic that you put up there. But Dave,
Yes.
expand on that. You sound way better, by the way. Like your sound is 100 times better than what it was the year before. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it. But if everything's a gimmick and everything is done all the time in every match, like where does that leave us? How do you get around that? How do you fix wrestling right now?
I don't know if wrestling can be fixed. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking they've rebooted TV shows and movies and all this kind of stuff, and it's never as good as the original that I found. There may be one or two exceptions, but if you would look back in wrestling and grab some of those ideas and just add a little tweak on it. But I mean, you look at stuff like, okay, the original Ghostbusters, it was great. They tried doing a female version and it's not so good. It's the same concept. They put a little spin on it and it wasn't as successful. But
Right.
if wrestling can look back and see what worked and try not to change it too much, but go back and just see what worked. The Attitude Era worked up to a certain point. ECW worked up to a certain point. But when people think of, they're like, ECW, it's all death matches and all this kind of stuff. And that's why death matches work today. No, if you look at ECW, there was some of the quote unquote death match styles, but you had a lot of, you had Eddie Guerrero wrestling. You had just some good high flyers. You had just
Storm and Jericho.
Yeah.
What
was it? Thrill Seekers. Yeah. You just had some good wrestlers and you'd mix it up and you had a little bit of everything for everybody. It was, ECW was originally the true wrestling buffet. It wasn't just one style of wrestling. It had all these different styles. So I'm not sure what they can do nowadays besides speed things up. And not so much in a Russo type thing of crash TV, but speed things up. Don't take 10 minutes for an intro.
Right.
What if you can do it in 2 minutes, do it in 2 minutes. Just they have to make adjustments, and I know it's a different time and a different space, and everything has to change. But why does everything have to change? It doesn't have to change for the worse. Sometimes it can change for the better. And in doing so, you make minor adjustments. You don't all of a sudden change everything and flip everything on its head.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what can be done.
I wonder.
Just choose not to watch anymore. I don't know.
It's funny because if you think about it, like politics as a similar example, any country goes to the left. They're like, here's a super lefty guy with, liberal. And then later on, they get tired of that and they go right. And it seems to swing back and forth on a pendulum. It does for my country as well. And if that was the case in sports or in, a sports-based presentation for athletic display, whatever you want to call wrestling, then you would start seeing, I think, more scientific wrestling again. I think you'd start seeing closer, not way back. But you probably start seeing closer to the Dean Malenkos at the, in the late '90s, early 2000s, or the Lance Storms, or or somebody like that. And um, I don't know that you're ever going to see that. To Dave's point, I don't know that it'll ever go back that way. All you can do is more and more Gonzo stuff, And like AEW, Darby Allin had like some kind of flamethrower a month ago. A flamethrower. I'm supposed to believe he's going to set people on fire. I mean,
They broke out a fucking fish aquarium. Why?
yeah,
Why did you have a fish aquarium at a wrestling match?
I don't know. This is what we were just talking about a little while ago. In a way, Patrick, both men and women doing the same gimmick matches. AEW does it too.
Yeah.
Put them in a cage. Put the women in the cage. Put the men in the elimination chamber. Put the women in the elimination chamber. If the women go into a ladder match, the men are in a ladder match, and it takes away all sense of special nature about the match to me. You'll see the same stuff happening in both matches. You did in that last ladder match was we were just just the same stuff over and over. And nothing is memorable because everything's a gong show. And I'll tell you, man,
I loved the Gong Show.
it's
I
true.
loved the Gong Show.
The unknown comic.
But over time,
Yeah.
every act had to be that much more out there. And over time, the Gong Show was just another show.
Yep.
Yep. And they all are in the end. I don't know if you guys, well, of course you are. Like when I was a kid, I loved MASH. MASH was an amazing show. The replacement cast was better than the original cast. BJ was better than Trapper, and Potter was better than Henry, and who else? Charles was better than who did Charles replace? Then Frank.
Frank.
And the first ones were all great. The second ones were even better. But to Dave's point earlier, that's so rare. So
Radar.
rare.
Klinger was better than Radar.
Who was? Klinger?
Klinger was better than Radar.
I don't know, but I see what you're saying. But Klinger was also there, I think, from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he did take over that job. Anyway. But I don't know. I don't know, guys. I was kind of hoping that some people would come on and go, Tim, watch this because you're missing out. Like maybe they'll do that afterwards. We get a lot of our views after the fact as well. But
yeah, in the mornings before work, as Sam Retro turned me on to him, there's a guy that comes on YouTube, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, he does getting high and watching wrestling.
Right.
And I'll get up in the morning, and as I'm getting ready for work, I'll watch that. And he does it Monday through Saturday. And I'm getting ready for work, or I'm just waking up, so I tune into it. He's a funny guy, and I like to smoke weed, so and it's all getting high and watching what have you. But I particularly pay attention to the wrestling ones, and he's currently doing USWA from the early to mid 80s or 90s right now.
Okay.
And then on Fridays he does Memphis Wrestling, which I grew up on.
Right.
And he's doing it. It's the broadcast that was shown on um, Saturday afternoon, right after cartoons went off for Evansville. So
Okay.
I get all the old nostalgia of Lance Russell, saying, and when we're coming to Evansville this coming Wednesday night, you're going to see Jerry King Lawler go up against Bill Dundee, and it's going to be one heck of a match, I tell you, Dave Brown. There's that, and I'm loving that shit. Like Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's going back and watching old shit. I'm loving seeing these fucking minute and a half fucking rest holds in the middle of the ring
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and the crowd is just like eating
Eating
it the
that
fuck
shit
up.
up. Yeah.
And so am I.
Yeah,
And
man.
so am I.
So's Willie. Willie said, "I'd rather see brawlers like Hanson, Brody, Rhodes, and Mulligan." Yeah, those were. I always forget the phrase: big men slapping meat or big meaty men.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
There you go, man.
I believe it's Dallas USWA, Patrick. I'll ask for more clarification, but I believe it's the Dallas USWA.
I think if there's a way
It,
to solve it, though, right? If you're penduluming back and forth like politics, you're trying to get away from the gonzo shit, you got to go back to the stuff that you're watching now, that Dave's
yeah,
watching now, and
Yep.
go, what worked
the
back then?
shit that brought you in the first place.
Yeah,
I think, just to give you that if nothing else, that nostalgic vibe. Um, Another thing is they just looked more believable. The guys back then just looked more believable. I'm a 48-year-old fucking kind of doughy fucking middle-aged man now. Whenever I was a kid, I thought I saw no issue with the smaller guy, because I was a kid, I envisioned myself being in there. But I knew that that would never work. Nowadays, it's, outside of Bill Dundee, if you're not, and this is even in real life, if you're not 6 foot fucking tall, I kind of look down on
right.
you, literally and figuratively. I'm sorry, it's just a thing. I
Yeah, and unless you're Ricky Morton and you could sell like anything, and everybody went, "Come on, Ricky, make that tag. Come on, do it."
or
You were
like I said,
into it.
you're Bill Dundee who will stand there and the guys across from him, and he says one thing that Bill doesn't like it, and he popped him,
Yeah,
and you just that's it. You don't fuck with that guy, you
yeah,
Yeah.
know.
it's true.
He was that one exception to the rule kind of thing, you know.
Oh, or what about Arn Anderson? Yeah.
Asshole.
What?
An asshole. Arn Anderson. No, see now Arn Anderson. I was talking about this the other day in the Discord. Anderson, Arn Anderson was built like my grandfather, and I say that as an individual who is still to this day scared to death of my grandfather, and he's been dead for 10 years now. Um, but he was 5'6" on a good day with his best shoes on. But built like a whiskey barrel and arms like Popeye, and he was a boxer. So I I get in trouble for saying that a lot whenever I make this say that if you're not 6 foot, I kind of look down on you. It's not meant to be disparaging or anything. I just nobody's my grandfather, you know.
I gotta
So
say though, I gotta say in the defense of the little, I'm 6'4", but in defense of the little guys, anytime I lost a fight, let's be honest for a second, real talk here. Anytime I lost a fight, which is maybe half the time, it's always to a little guy. Always a little guy. Or some guy, right? Some guy who just decided he was just gonna whoop my ass that day. But anyway, but Dave, Dave, here's the thing. And we can move on after this, but David Valentine and Willie Bowen talk about territories and like UWN's expanding. We want UWN to do so well, and but their territory system is or their affiliate system. I don't know if you can call it a territory system. Affiliate system has stumbled and then gone silent. Seemed to lay there for a while. Part of it didn't get up. Now there's a new part. There's Gotham more your way than than there was, and I really enjoyed the one in Arizona,
yeah,
and and anyway, it's been problematic, and then the NWA territory system, which, well, in my opinion, and what does that matter? But in my opinion, it's not good. I'm not saying there's no good wrestling in there, and I will definitively tell you there's one promotion in the territories that's better than any other member of the territories. There's some bad territories in there, and also no, if it's just like that's bad production and they're doing that production, I get it. It is independent level wrestling. You're doing the best you can with what you got right now. Keep going. More power to you. But what value does it bring the NWA to have it? And what value is the NWA and having a territory system that Dave talks about this all the time, that they don't advertise or run shit in? Like Carson Drake will show up in, JCP or Crossfire or whatever, right? And do something there. Why isn't that on NWA TV? Like, what value are the territories to the NWA and the NWA to the territories? Like, I'm not the world's smartest man, but I don't get it. Dave, like, am I crazy, or is they should be doing this differently?
No, I mean, if you're going to integrate them, that's cool. You can have Carson Drake on Power doing a promo saying, "Hey, I decided to take my championship and head on down," or "I'm the new champion down in JCP or Crossfire. I decided to take them down and help them get some people to come in and watch their other local wrestlers while they could see a real champion." Have him talk down to him. It's part of his gimmick.
Right.
If they're not going to include, I mean, they're doing all these skits and everything. They don't need to do that. And I'll talk about that later. These skits are getting them nowhere.
Nowhere. And it works the other way. Like, I know Carson Drake's not the TV champion anymore, but when he was, if he were going down there, if he were saying that on Power, I'm going down to the Page Sisters promotion, Crossfire Wrestling. I'm going to defend the NWA television title. Ha ha ha. And then he's going down there. And if you did it the other way around, where he goes down there and he screws some guy out of his chance to have the NWA title, then that guy can follow him back to Power for 2-3 episodes and chase him for that title match. Like, he's from Crossfire. Here's 30-second package about him drop kicking off the top rope or whatever it is he does in Crossfire, www.crossfirewrestling.com.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that simple from me. Power, Jace's Power is disconnected from the territory.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why?
It doesn't
Why?
make any sense.
You're not.
Because they're 3 months behind.
Because they're 3 months behind.
If they were a month behind, it could be relatable. But 3 months, I mean, that's, in my opinion, just too long. They need to figure out a way to do better.
Yeah, we know it's Mondo. I used Carson because I saw him on TV when we were doing the territory rounds, and like we wanted to do the territories. We did do the territories, I think basically 2 loops of it, and then it was just, it didn't grab us. There was nothing there really to Power isn't even connected to the live events. Yeah, Willie's father, by the way, was 5'9.5". 210 and a sparring partner for Joe Louis. Woo!
Feel like a fucking brick shithouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire plug. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know. If you're not going to use them properly, then I don't want to watch it. I'm right back to where I started 45 minutes ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I typically go on during the month of October. I'll watch at least one horror movie a day.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
During the month of October.
Awesome.
If wrestling's on, wrestling takes precedent. This year that didn't happen.
Right.
I was watching horror movies all fucking month long.
Hey, before we go to whatever you decide you want to cover, yeah, because I know you're like, oh, why would I make notes for this shit? But you could talk about whatever you want in a second. Speaking about horror movies, did you see that one with fuck? I'm so shitty at actor names. Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant and two Mormon girls come to the house, and he gives them a choice.
Yeah.
You know, I was. What did you think?
I religious horror like that kind of freaks me the fuck out. As an individual that was raised in a Catholic household,
Yeah.
we had, my mother was very superstitious about shit because and religious horror, especially, like, we didn't watch The Exorcist,
Oh yeah.
and
I saw that
we
way too
didn't.
young. That movie, man, scared the shit.
My mom, that was on TV while my mom was in the hospital in labor with me. Yeah. So there's that reason's probably more prevalent as to why we actually didn't watch it. But also we didn't watch a whole lot of religious horror. Just kind of leery of being kind of looked at as blasphemous, I guess. But that one unnerved me, man. Hugh Grant is a great actor.
Yeah. If you
And
haven't seen it, it's not as good as you think. Is what I was gonna bring it up. I forget what it's. Heretic. That's what it's called. I
yeah,
thought he was
yeah,
gonna do some like serial killer shit to him. It's totally weirder than that. Nothing, nothing
yeah.
inappropriate for you and me to watch. But yeah, it was Patrick Moore. Looking for your question. Continuity between brands for places like UWN and Memphis. Sorry if I missed it. Here we go. I missed this one. When there's territories or something like UWN and Memphis wrestling, I'll pause there for a second because Memphis doesn't put, last time I checked, UWN's freaking logo on their product. So how are they even part of the UWN? Anyway,
Yeah.
and or NWA in their territories, how can you maintain continuity between brands without necessarily having wrestlers crossing over?
See, and there's no and there's two.
I don't know. Can you guys?
No, you really can't.
Yeah.
You really can't.
I mean, it's more like, okay, the NFL has different teams. They interact sometimes, but each of them is an individual team. They all
And even the Oath territories didn't really keep a continuity like that.
no,
Just with the major champion, or if their champions happen to go to another territory for a reason,
yeah,
for some reason. But that was,
I mean, heaven forbid that MLP and AEW ever do anything together. Because what would Josh Alex? He's a heel in AEW. He's a baby face of baby faces as the MLP champion, Canadian champion.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you do. I guess it depends on where the show is.
yep,
Which, in a way, kind of could works for a character like Josh Alexander, kind of like it did for Brett.
Yeah.
In Canada, he was always a baby face, but here, whenever it was the Hart Foundation, they were heels, but he was always a baby face in Canada. So Alexander's always a baby face in MLW or MLP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't Hugh Grant and Sigourney Weaver. It was basically just Hugh Grant and two girls that I don't know. Your boy Jay is ready for
Yeah.
fight in the junior heavyweight division. That's something we should watch, boss. We should watch the junior heavyweight division in the NWA. I mean, by the way, for horror movies, weapons, I haven't seen this yet. I hear such amazingly good things.
Horror flicks
my
is something that hasn't really gotten me either lately, though.
yeah, it's my son is like the world's heaviest movie critic. And he's like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Like, oh, all right, gotta watch that one.
Okay.
All right, Jeremy. Championship Wrestling from Jeremy. Got time to get down to the nitty gritty.
The nitty
Uh,
gritty.
what do you got for us this week, if anything at all?
Nothing.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.
I
Nothing at all?
watched I watched UWN like I said I would, and it was a show for me. I've been going back and I've been watching a lot of the old TNA. I'm getting close to whenever our boy Magnus first made his debut there, and after years of toiling in his leather skirt, he then became part of the British invasion, and then he went on to become Nick Aldis, and he was some people in the NWA sphere champion, never mind, but
He was your NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He was Jay's for sure, though.
oh yeah, oh yeah, Jay loved him like a ham sandwich. But no, I just I I may what I may end up doing is just going back and reviewing TNA of yore. Why not?
Yep. Sometimes things have traction that, and sometimes they don't. Like where we tried to get people behind. I did. I tried to get people behind an NWA Hall of Fame reboot. The NWA wouldn't even get behind it.
Yeah.
Anyway, how would you feel about an MLW invasion of the NWA, Dave? What do you think?
I really don't know. I mean, six of one, half dozen of another. It's
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
I mean,
Yeah.
I like good wrestling. No matter, I mean, if WWE puts out some good stuff, cool. I'll watch that match. But not everything is hitting, and it's very rarely that you get a company that hits on 100%. But if you can get maybe 75% of a company, 75% you enjoy, that's a good thing. Nowadays, I'm not getting even 50% or 25%. That it's not grabbing me. It's nothing that it it it's not of interest to me. It's just something that's happening.
Yeah.
What I would like to see, the one thing I would like to see out of that, Austin Aries and Brian Idol. Clash of the Egos.
Dave was so disgusted he left.
I had rightfully so. I'm disgusted with myself for bringing it up.
You need another Goldberg and what's his name? Wow, God, what's that idiot's name? Gilbert and Ellsworth.
Oh God.
Ellsberg. Yeah. To Patrick, Memphis is part of the UWM. They don't put the logos up on the screen. They don't identify themselves as members of the UWN. I think the UWN last time I looked used Memphis's YouTube channel as their primary location. The website for the UWN has long been a complete mess. It sends you nowhere. It's impossible to navigate, and I've never understood the marketing platform. Like I don't understand why you aren't consolidated into one place and doing things like having your Memphis champion, presumably your Gotham champion, your whatever, um, talking about how the UWN champion, because Limelight went down there and he hung out with Gun Show for a while, but like a year or two ago,
Yeah.
for a few episodes. And it is doable. but I don't know. I don't get how they run it, and I don't get how they expect to get anything out of it if it's just a bunch of independent companies that are not going to be connected on the highest level of social media with their champions to a UWL champion. That was the whole idea behind the NWA. It worked for I don't know 100 years almost, and well, not that long, but it worked since Orville Brown anyway. I sure miss Michael Britt. Welcome. I sure miss the good old days when we had AWA, NWA, 605, World Class, WWF, and Continental. Dave doesn't like that one either, so he's left. He's abject. Yeah, man. Like it was a cool. Mine isn't fun. It was a cool place to be growing up in Toronto for me because we started as an NWA town. We had more NWA defenses than just about anybody. And then the McMahons flipped us over to WWF at the time, and that's what stayed. So we kind of got the best of both worlds for a while. But yeah, I miss that stuff too, man. Yeah, that's maybe what we ought to be talking about. Maybe what we come here saying, hey, come and watch the show and tell us what you're watching that is the most exciting thing that we're going to watch today. And because we got the BLAHS. And what is like Tim, Jeremy, Dave, you got to see X. And if that's back in 1983, I'm all about it. But if it's something new, you think we got to see that, fantastic. Let's see it. But yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh no, I was just saying, any suggestions, whether it's modern day or good classic stuff? I mean, like I said, I was watching Central States, and that's Harley Race. But back in the 80s, one of my favorite tag teams there was the Batten Twins, and they did the Twins Magic where they'd switch. And I mean, these weren't huge guys. They were maybe 6 foot at most. I'd say 5'10", maybe. But they're identical twins. They did twin magic. They'd switch in and out. They weren't anything big nationwide, but they were good, solid wrestlers, and I just enjoyed watching them because you knew they were the quote unquote good guys that every once in a while they do something underhanded to beat the bad guy. And if you could beat them at their own game, that's cool. You weren't doing anything bad. And that's the old wrestling psychology I liked. Then you had Bulldog Bob Brown, he was forever the bad guy. And he wasn't much to look at, just big stocky guy, maybe 6 foot, but everybody hated him.
Right.
And it's just, those are the characters I miss. That nowadays, I don't really hate a wrestler. I hate what they're doing.
Right.
It's not the actual wrestler I hate. It's their act that they're putting on. But back in the day, wrestlers, they weren't living a gimmick. Well, they were living the gimmick. They weren't being somebody that they weren't. They were that person 24/7. That if you saw Harley Race out and about, and like Harley has said, if any of my wrestlers are in a bar and they get in a fight and they lose, you're no longer going to be in this territory,
right,
because you didn't live up to, quote unquote, the person you are being. So
right.
it's one of those things of, I enjoy wrestling that has a real feel to it.
Right.
And nothing modern is catching on with me. So
right.
I don't know. Maybe it's a me problem and not a wrestling problem. But I'd like to find something that I enjoy watching.
If it's a you problem, it's a him problem. It's also a me problem, and I suspect, as Jeremy pointed out, with WWE #1 on the downside, it's starting to be an everybody problem. Patrick Moore said it in the NWA. Who paid for the champions' travel? Well, the territory did, and the accommodations, and they paid out the champ for his time. But that wouldn't apply today for the UWN. I don't know that actually, the boss is around. He might be able to say, but I don't think that you're paying the UWN for the Spartan Jordan Cruz, right? Is that who the champion the UWN is right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. If Jordan Cruz is coming over to Gotham, I don't think you're paying for anything more than you would if he were just an independent, star. There's no group of people who manage Jordan Cruz beyond,
And back
I
to
guess, anyway.
what Jay said. On top of that, why bring somebody in from the UWN whenever Tommy Dreamer put more asses guaranteed to fill up that little area? It
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Double D, I am a bandwagon baseball guy, got into it only in the World Series. This is my bandwagon hat. But man, I got so deep into it. I as a friend of mine said, like, I don't even watch baseball all that much, and that game aged me 10 years. Like, I was standing up in my family room. That's what I want out of pro wrestling. I want that to, like, oh, what is happening right now?
Speaking of Devin D, yes, we have all always wanted to drown someone in one of our enemies in a fish tank. Isn't that like one of the seminal 80 fucking moves is to put the drug dealer's head through like the fish tank or drown him in it? But who has one in the middle of a freaking wrestling match?
I think he's joking.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Hey, look, at least when Darby Allin lights you up with the Molotov cocktail or the flamethrower, you can dive into the shark tank in order to put the fire out. Fuck off.
Yep.
How about Dog joining the NWA?
Nope.
Dr.
Been there.
Zirconium's a good businessman.
Been there, done that, right? Right, Dave?
Yep.
Dr.
Dog,
Zirconium knows better than that.
he does. Dog was in NWA territory at one point in the past, and are doing, from what I can tell, pretty damn fine on their own right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog is the only thing that wishes I was back in college so I could go to the college and watch them wrestle. But
Yeah.
as soon as they have a couple events that take place outside of the college, I'm planning on making a trip. It's about 2 hours, so I'll just fill the tank up, go catch some wrestling because
Nice.
they know how to do old school style wrestling. You know who the heels are, you know who the faces are, and they just wrestle. There's wrestling. It's a wrestling event that goes on, and that's what I paid to go see. I didn't pay to go see people talking in the back and seeing what's going on, or standing in the ring and just bad mouthing someone else, but nothing happening after you talk shit on somebody.
You know what I love about the Dog setup from that Rowan University, Dave, is like that they come in through like a second level
Yeah.
on like either side and go down those stairs,
Oh
and the
yeah.
crowd's all in the middle, and it's super cool. It's just the opposite entrance kind of thing, and yeah, it looks really neat. I like it. But, I don't know what he's feeding you, man. I couldn't tell you what.
Ask him.
Ask him. Yeah, he's your buddy.
I don't want to speak on what someone else is saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Pampero Firpo. All of these guys are dead. Oh, Stan Hansen's still alive. Hansen's still alive. But yeah. I mean, don't we all? The Trevor Murdoch is that kind of throwback for me, and he's still out there. he's a reason, I guess, to continue to watch NWA, but or to get back into it. But I don't know. What the hell?
What the fuck, Double D?
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't even know if I can put that on the screen. Ah, screw it. Let's put it up. That's funny shit. I don't know why that's funny. It just is.
That's funny.
That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Dave, let's do some fantasy booking.
All right.
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the NWA and one thing you would fix, the big thing that you think they're doing wrong. What's going on? Are you there? Oh, we lost Dave.
You there?
Yeah, we're here now.
Okay.
Oh, you're cutting out pretty bad, Dave.
Okay. I would just change the way they do their programming in such as get the skits out of here. The skits just need to leave. They're not doing anything. If you're going to use skits, use them on social media or on YouTube. Have your talent use them that way. But
Right.
go back and use Kyle Davis or anybody else with a microphone to talk directly to the talent so you feel their emotion. I mean,
Right.
I haven't felt anything of this story of, oh, the benefactor is going to give money. It's just dragging on. It makes no sense. And you're not getting heartfelt emotion. Same thing with being in the video store or being in the GameStop. You're not getting anything out of this. It's
Right.
just, it's stupid, in my opinion. Granted, I don't own the company, so I'm not running it and doing it the way. But I mean, if you go back to the very beginning of Billy Corgan's NWA, when it first started, granted, Dave Marquez isn't with them anymore, but you could have Kyle Davis at the stand, at the bout, just with the microphone, or in the ring interviewing people. That is what that's when you feel real emotion. And I mean,
100% agree.
there's nothing better than feeling real emotion. These skits, they spend all this time on these skits and they don't know if it's going to hit or miss. By the next week, you will feel by people responding on social media whether they got what happened with this interview with so and so. That if you were interviewing Trevor Murdoch, or back in the day, if Eli Drake was being interviewed, or God forbid Eddie Kingston started a stab him up chant, people responded to that. But
Yeah.
it was in the moment. It was right then and there. Granted, you're filming stuff, and that's cool. It can be a 1 to 4 week delay until you see it on TV, but you had a live audience that was responding to it. They don't know how to respond when somebody is talking about something because it hasn't happened yet in quote unquote the real wrestling world. It's being filmed to be shown 3 months later.
Right.
So they just need to stop all the skits and all that kind of stuff. Do the live interviews, live takeovers. And when I say takeover, that's when somebody like the Southern Six come out and grab Kyle and bring him into the ring and go, we got something to say. We want to say it.
Right.
It's real. All these skits, I've never seen anything like these skits ever happen in real life.
None of them are any good.
No. And if it did happen in real life, like you said, it's not good. So I probably wouldn't pay attention to it anyway. So, I mean, they just need to, if they're going to do wrestling and wrestling as it's meant to be, no, they just need to do wrestling. Good and bad against each other, good against good, bad against bad, whatever you want to do. But you have to just, in the moment, right then and there, you have to have emotion. You can't film stuff and try to get emotion out of it. It has to be interviews, in-ring segments, and that builds up to a wrestling match that means something. If it doesn't, and it's just a squash match, that still emotes something of, oh, wow, so-and-so beat the hell out of so-and-so in 2 minutes. Wonder what the hell happened to, quote unquote, this enhancement guy or jobber. And you just see what happens. That if it's somebody from the territories, that when this NWA talent goes out onto the territory, that wrestler is looking for revenge. If they get revenge on the territories, then you can bring them back to finish the story on Power. But I mean, they need to do something.
Yes.
And in my opinion, that's what they need to do. Get rid of the skits and just do 1 or 2 segments. And that gives you a chance to do 1 or 2 squash matches in the time of all these promos that are being done that are skits that mean nothing. And that's about all I really have to say on it.
You got some people in the chat here in complete agreement with you and no one who isn't. Patrick Moore agrees, Scoob. Michael Britt says skits are very bad acting and wasting of valuable TV time. Willie agrees with that. They're terrible. Patrick wants the NWA to focus on their wrestling, to be honest. And Mackenzie Johnson, welcome. New name, I think. I think could have creative and intriguing storyline rather than some of this crap. Look, if you're an Alliance fan, buddy of ours in this show, which we've done a lot of episodes, not like the actual Alliance guys, but I think we've done 125 as of today. Like I got a bit of a grudge with the NWA that I won't get into, but like not a fan. But I'll say this: back in 1998, the WWF in 1998 brought out Bombastic Bob and Bodacious Bart as the new Midnight Express. They were garbage as a team and as a concept that harkened back to Condrey and Eaton or Eaton and Lane. Lightning One is the new Midnight Express of the NWA.
Wow. Yep.
But it is. Let's start being honest about it, right? We talk about how we're not going to pull punches, and we don't. Like, we want everybody to be successful. Like, lots of great people work there. Some of them are who are even those who are gone now have been friends of ours in the Alliance and for so long. Let's stop talking about Power is a B+ this week, or come on, this we got to start saying things, I think, more about what it is. But I'll shut up. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it, and that's all. Can't make any of the videos work, so we'll end it here. How can we find you guys on? Yeah, here we go.
You can find me over on Facebook at Jeremy Miller.
There you go. Perfect. That's exactly it. You're not on Blue Sky. Don't pretend you are. I'm not either. Neither is Dave.
I'm there in name only.
In spirit.
Yeah. Well, know if in spirit, but I'm at Dave Scooby on Twitter X and over on Instagram. So like Tim has said, hit us up if you have any ideas or suggestions of stuff that you want us to watch or check out, or even we may do a watch along. Who knows? But anything is better than nothing, and right now I've got nothing.
Yeah. And we
Rocky
are,
Mountain Pro's right up the road for me, Dave Valentine.
yeah, you're going to run up there and give us a report from ringside?
Probably not. No, their shows are they run their shows on like Wednesday night or something like that. So it'd have to be a whole thing. It's driving up to Denver and then driving back, which the drive back isn't bad, but the drive up there can be hours for just over an hour drive.
Okay. Yeah, look, I'm glad the NWA exists too. I would, someday I hope it does very well, and it's worth, nobody tonight has said, "Hey, step up and watch the NWA again," because you're going to love it. So, thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you.